In this video, I'm gonna show you how to use the FlutterFlow extension in Cursor so that you can edit your custom functions, widgets, and actions. And you can do this because Cursor is a fork of VS Code, so all of your VS Code extensions work in Cursor. So let me show you how to do this. First, we wanna download Cursor, and you can do that at cursor.com. Come over here, and up at the top here, just download it. After you've installed it, open it up. Next, we're gonna install the FlutterFlow extension, and you can get that by going up here to Cursor, Settings, and Extensions down here. Now, I've already got the Flutter and Dart extensions installed. Those are super helpful, and I'd recommend installing those as well, but you can just search for FlutterFlow. And there it is, and install. Next, we're gonna need an API key so that you can access your projects in your FlutterFlow account. So sign into your FlutterFlow account, and on the left here, go to your account settings, and down here under API token, create an API token. Once you've got that, copy it to your clipboard, and head back over to Cursor. Next, come over here to your settings and to extension settings, and scroll down to the bottom to user API token and paste it in. And that's it. Your extension is set up and ready to go. So next, we need a project that we want to work on. So I've got this chairs e-commerce app, and what you're going to need is the project ID. So you can come and hover over here and copy the project ID. Now we can go back to Cursor, and in your command palette up here, or using the shortcut Shift Command P, you'll see the FlutterFlow commands you have available because you have the extension installed. Now, if you don't see them, you can just start typing FlutterFlow and they'll pop up. And the first one you want to do is download the code. Next, you'll be prompted for that project ID. So let's paste that in there and press enter. Next, if you want to specify a certain branch, you can set that here, or it'll default to main, so you can just press enter. Next, you'll be given the option for a folder location for where this project is going to be downloaded. So just select that, then accept the download location. I've just got a FlutterFlow projects folder, and that's where I want to download it. Now, because I have my Dart extension installed, it recognizes that I need to run pub-get to retrieve the packages I'm using in this project. So run that. All right, great. This project is downloaded and ready to go. We just have one more step, and that's to start an editing session. So we're going to pull up that command palette again. So Shift Command P, and we want to start a code editing session. All right, awesome. We're ready to start coding. Now, just as a reminder, currently with this extension, the files we can edit are custom functions, actions, and widgets, not anything else in the project. And you can find those inside this lib folder inside custom code. Now, if you don't have any functions, widgets, or actions, you won't see any of those folders here yet. And custom functions don't come in this custom code folder. They come in here in this custom functions.dart file. Okay, so I've got some actions and widgets already. Let's create a new function. And to see what function we're gonna need, let's go take a look at the project we have. All right, so on the shopping cart page, I need a function to calculate this total right here. And to do that, I'm gonna need to add up all of these chair items. Now, we're storing this inside this cart variable, and this cart variable is a list of cart data types right here. And so you can see that these have a name, a price, a color, and an image attached to them. And here's our custom data type right here. So what we'll need the function to do is to take in our list of carts of these data types right here and sum up this price property. Okay, so let's come over to our custom code right here and just create a new function, and we'll just call it sum cart total. And we're going to define some arguments right here, and we'll take in our cart, which will be a data type, and that's a list, and it's going to be this cart data type. And what we'll want returned here is a double. Okay, great. And just so we can save it, we're just going to say return 0. Okay. And let's save that. Okay, now let's go back into Cursor and actually write this function. So in order to see this, we have to pull the latest changes from that project. So down here at the bottom, you can see we've got push and pull. So let's pull our latest changes. Now, this is just gonna tell us that it's gonna overwrite any local changes we've made. And so yeah, that's fine. Okay, great. That's been updated successfully. We pulled the changes, and there we can see it, our one function we've defined. Okay, great. Now, because this is just a local Flutter project, you have access to everything you would expect you to have access to. And some common things are your state variables, data types, and other functions. Now, we only have one here, but if you want to access state variables, those are under FF app state. And there in our project, we have one app state variable. All right, well, let's write this function, but we're in Cursor now. So let's use some of the built-in AI features. So we're gonna open up our chat panel by hitting Command L. Now you can see that it's auto set this file for its context, but Cursor indexes your whole code base right here. And you can see that if you go into settings right here, and let's close this up, and under features, if you scroll down, you can see you've got this code base indexing and it's synced. So it has the context of your whole code base. Okay, let's open up that Command L and we can just ask it, refactor the sum cart total function to return the sum of all the prices in the cart struct. All right, let's see if that works. Okay, let's see here. At first it's checking if the list is empty and then calling card.fold. The fold method in Dart takes an initial value and a function, then goes through each item in the list, combining it with the running total to give you the final sum here. And down here, it walks you through what it's done. Now, what's cool is we can confirm right here that it has access to the whole code base because it has to know that the cart struct has a property of price, and it does that. So that's awesome. Okay, so then let's apply this. We can see the diff right here and accept it with Command Y. All right, beautiful. So we've rewritten this function. Let's save it and then push it to FlutterFlow. All right, it's synced with FlutterFlow. Let's go back to FlutterFlow and test this function. All right, we're back in FlutterFlow and we see our old function here and we just need to refresh the page to see it again. Awesome, here's our function. Let's test it out. So let's add some fields in here. Let's just add a price of $25.50 and one more, Beluga, and $58.90. Save that and let's test it out. Awesome. Okay, so now let's add this into our app. So we've got our text right here and we want to bind that to this and we want to use our custom function right down here and let's pass in our cart. And finally, let's add our number formatting. All right, let's test it out. Awesome. And just like that, we've got our sum working correctly. But I want to take this one step further. And I have a cool animation in mind for this. And I want to use this animated text lerp package that does this kind of cool counting up thing. Okay, let's go to FlutterFlow and set up that custom widget. All right, let's come into our custom code right here. Let's add a new custom widget. We're going to call it animated sum. It's going to have one parameter, which is going to be the sum value. That's going to be the thing that gets animated, and it'll be a double. Okay, next, let's add our dependency, and you can grab that right here and paste it in. And now we can grab our boilerplate code and copy to the editor. And finally, let's grab that import statement. And that's right down here. Copy it, and let's paste that in. Okay, great, let's save. All right, let's jump over to Cursor. All right, next we need to pull those changes that we just made here. So we're gonna pull the latest. All right, that's great. And so now we can go into our widgets right here and we can see that widget we just set up right there. Okay, that's great. Now, of course, we haven't built out this widget yet. We're just returning a container right here. So we need to actually build it out. So let's do that. Let's start up a new chat right here. We're focused on the animated sum widget right here, and that's what we want. Now, I've copied the URL to clipboard of that pub dev package. And so I'm gonna tell Claude here to refactor this widget so that it returns an animated widget based on this package. And then you can just paste it in. Now this just popped open. It's popping open this file for context. You can just collapse it and you can see that it's added that in. Another way to do this is if you do the @ shortcut, you can have all these shortcuts and we just did this web one right here. That's the same one. Okay, and return. All right, let's take a look at this. So it's skipping over the existing imports and it's just returning this animated number text. It recognizes that we want to access that parameter, is using our FlutterFlow theming, and it's formatting it as a price. Beautiful. And of course, if you want to read more about it, it gives you the key changes it made here. Okay, now this hasn't been applied yet, so let's apply this and accept. All right, amazing. Let's save this and push it to FlutterFlow. Okay, so here our widget is populated. It's looking great. So now let's add this to our app. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to replace that right here, but we're going to need a variable to store store our sum value that we pass in. I've already declared a sum value right here. Okay, so we want to delete this right here. We want to add in our custom widget right here. And we're just going to set some values right here and alignment. And I don't want to enforce width and height. Just give it some right there. It won't be enforced, so the widget itself will determine its width. Okay, then we want to pass in our sum value, which is in our page state, and our sum right there. Okay, that's the value right there, but now we need to actually sum these values. So when the page loads right here, let's come over to our action flow editor, and we want to write to that page state variable, and that one right there. And we want to set it by that function we already wrote right down here, sum cart total. And let's add in our cart. Okay, great. Now for this widget, it lerps between states. So I've set up an initial value of just something low right here, 1.5. And then when it gets changed, it'll animate up. Okay, let's go test it out. Beautiful, it's animating up. Love that. Now it's going a little fast, so let's change the speed. Down here, it's animating in 800 milliseconds, so let's just double that to 1600, and let's take a look. Beautiful, much better. And that's how to use the FlutterFlow extension in Cursor. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next video.